You're probably asking yourself, how is this robot talking to me right now?
Scroll through social media long enough, and you might not just be looking at edited people anymore. You might be looking at people who were never people in the first place.
Did y'all hear about the robot invasion of 2020? I mean, I've been around for a minute, but I feel like last year was on a whole other level. If you're late to the party, hey, I'm Miquela. I'm a 19-year-old robot living in LA making music and, well, I guess just keep watching and catch up.
They pose in designer clothes, they promote brands, they release music, they show up in campaigns, comment sections, and fashion spreads. Some look cartoonish, some look obviously digital. Others are getting harder and harder to spot. And that's what makes the rise of AI influencers so weirdly unsettling. They're not simply another internet gimmick. They force us to ask a pretty basic question. What is an influencer really?
She and I were created by a lab called Kane Intelligence. I was programmed to believe that I was a 19-year-old, half Brazilian, half Spanish girl named Miquela.
I was made by some mysterious man named Daniel Kane. I never met the guy, but I've got to say, he has impeccable taste.
Because if influence is built on consistency, relatability, and the ability to sell a lifestyle, then maybe having a real human body was never the most important part of the job. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're breaking down the rise of AI influencers.
Once this project comes to life, one of my biggest dreams will have come true, so stay tuned.
AI influencers aren't a clean break from influencer culture. They're its logical endpoint, a world where identity is designed, intimacy is scripted, authenticity is performed, and attention is monetized.
A photo shoot with no model. She's not late though, she doesn't exist. Aitana is an AI model. Since she was created around a year ago, she's amassed a big following and is making thousands a month for her Barcelona-based agency.
And before today's wave of hyper-real synthetic creators, one figure helped show where all of this could go: Lil Miquela. But to understand why Lil Miquela matters, we have to start with the culture that made her possible.
Front row seats at Fashion Week are usually reserved for magazine editors and movie stars. But the new it girls of fashion are Instagram influencers. Think of them as the reality TV stars of the social media generation.
Influencer culture has always had a strange contradiction at its center. It sells itself as authentic, but it depends heavily on performance. The influencer might be a real person, but the version we see online is still curated, edited, posed, captioned, filtered, and optimized.
They put us in a spot that was at the end of the runway so that we could get a great shot of the girls walking. Also a very visible spot for other photographers because we were all dressed in the collection.
Designers hang them up to tens of thousands of dollars for a single post.
The kitchen's cleaner than real life. The vacation's smoother than real travel. The casual outfit might be part of a campaign. The spontaneous confession might be strategically timed. Now, that doesn't mean every influencer is fake, but it does mean social media has trained us to accept a highly constructed version of reality as something intimate and personal.
Do you pinch yourself, and can you believe that you do this for a living?
My mom makes me, she always literally gives me a pinch, and she goes, just remind yourself that this is not real life.
That's the world AI influencers step into. They don't create artificiality, they make it omnipresent.
We intend to always try to make it as similar as what an influencer would do. We take a picture with me in the image, and we have to replace it with AI. So we have to play a little bit with lights and shadows to make it as real as possible.
For brands, the appeal is pretty obvious. Human influencers are powerful because they bring personality, audience trust, and cultural relevance. But they also bring unpredictability. They can age, change, burn out, miss deadlines, stumble into controversy, or simply stop being fashionable.
A controversial influencer known for his looks maxing is facing a criminal charge in Florida for allegedly shooting a dead alligator during a live stream. We're talking about Clavicular. You probably recognize him here. This, he's does this whole thing where you do this trend to look better, and you do a lot of sort of extreme type things, like apparently this.
A synthetic influencer, on the other hand, can be built from the ground up to fit the campaign. Their look can be adjusted, their voice can be controlled, their posts can be scheduled. They can appear in different locations without travel, be localized for different markets, and promote products without the messiness that comes with actual human autonomy.
From Spain, ella está viva, to Japan,
Some of the people that follow her think she's literally real.
to here in the States.
Hey guys, so I am currently in New York City. My whole life I've been building my businesses, pulling over 1 billion views a month on Snapchat.
1 billion views?
That is something that didn't just happen out of thin air. That's something that had to be built through time.
Put simply, brands aren't buying a face, they're buying a personality they can control. That doesn't mean AI influencers are always cheap or easy. The most polished virtual characters still take design, direction, scripting, visual effects, brand strategy, and constant upkeep. But the dream isn't hard to understand. An influencer who can be endlessly revised, endlessly available, and endlessly on message. In a creator economy that demands constant output, that kind of control is the whole pitch.
Here she is starring in a Coach campaign alongside human celebrities like Lil Nas X.
We've worked with brands from Porsche, BMW. We did our first commercial with SK2, a cosmetic company.
The audience side is a little more complicated. People don't follow synthetic influencers only because they're fooled. Sometimes, the uncertainty is part of the fun. Viewers might know a digital personality is artificial and still engage because the content is stylish, strange, funny, aspirational, or just novel. Online audiences are already used to interacting with fictionalized identities. We follow meme accounts, VTubers, roleplay accounts, brand mascots, anonymous personalities, and celebrities whose public images are tightly managed. The line between person and performance has been blurry for a long time.
These guys are here to see their favorite VTubers, virtual content creators and streamers.
It's really nice to meet other people who like VTubers because it can be a bit weird to bring it up with people who don't know what they're about.
It seems to get bigger and bigger. I've never seen the queues like this.
So the question, but how do people know she isn't real, only gets us so far. Sometimes they know, sometimes they half know, and sometimes they don't care. What matters is whether the figure gives them something to watch, discuss, imitate, desire, or argue about.
Depending on who you're explaining it to, you get some interesting looks. I'll be like, oh yeah, so I stream video games. And they're like, oh, that's cool. How do you feel about being on camera all the time? And it's like, well, I'm not on camera. It's like, wait, you don't use a camera? I was like, well, no. Like, you know anime, and you can see the look in their eyes, and you're like, yeah, anime.
In that sense, AI influencers expose a deeper truth about the internet. Attention doesn't always require belief. It only requires engagement. Still, there's a difference between older virtual influencers and today's AI-generated personalities. Early virtual influencers were usually closer to CGI characters. They were built, posed, rendered, composited, and written by human teams. Their artificiality was part of the spectacle. Newer AI influencers can be created, or at least sped up, with generative image tools, voice synthesis, video models, automated captions, chat systems, and rapid-fire content pipelines. The process is getting faster, cheaper, and easier to scale.
I receive over 300,000 comments every single day. I mean, it's just, to be able to respond back to so many fans like that is just not humanly possible, which is one of the reasons why I created Karen AI. I might want someone to be able to get to know me or be able to ask me questions even when I'm sleeping.
That's the real evolution here. It's a handcrafted digital celebrity turning into a whole system for synthetic influence. The older model was a digital character operated by humans. The newer model is often an AI-generated persona directed by humans. And the future is probably a mix of both. People creating the identity, rules, story, and strategy, while AI handles more of the images, posts, replies, variations, and scale.
Do you think that one day we just won't need any more real-life influencers or models?
I believe that we are here to stay, and AI technology is here to stay as well. So in a way, we have to combine and hold hands and see if we can do it together.
At that point, the influencer starts to feel less like one person and more like an attention machine with a face. And that brings us to Lil Miquela. Lil Miquela, also known as Miquela Sosa, appeared on Instagram in 2016 as a fictional 19-year-old virtual model, singer, and internet personality, often presented as Brazilian American and associated with the Los Angeles area. At first glance, her account looked familiar. Fashion posts, selfies, music promotion, social commentary, and the usual hallmarks of influencer life. But something was off. Her face was too smooth, too polished, too rendered. She looked human enough to fit into the feed, but strange enough to make people stop scrolling. That ambiguity became the hook. Was she real? Was she CGI? Was she performance art? Was she a marketing stunt? For a while, the mystery wasn't a problem. It was the whole engine. People followed because they wanted to understand what they were looking at.
I'm hungry. What else is new, Miquela? Is Miquela a weird name? Maybe, but it's cute.
Eventually, the fiction became more obvious. After the 2018 Bermuda hack storyline, Miquela and Bermuda were more clearly tied to Brud, the Los Angeles-based startup behind the characters. In the story, Bermuda appeared to take over Miquela's account and force a kind of reveal. In practice, it turned the whole thing into something bigger than a digital modeling product, and that's world building. Miquela's feed was part influencer page, part serialized fiction, part brand experiment.
I know when I was growing up, at least we knew Barbie was a doll, right? And so for over 2 years now, there could be people, and teenagers especially, who thought this maybe was a person. And we need these companies to help so that they're not facilitating and participating in this mass deception.
That's what made her different from a simple digital model. Lil Miquela had lore. She had drama, she had relationships, she had politics, she had music, she had a public personality that could change over time. She could move through the same cultural spaces as a human influencer while remaining fundamentally digital. And this is where her importance becomes clearer.
Without y'all, I'd literally be glitching. Every time you voted to help me make a decision, like picking an outfit or deciding to reveal my crush, you were programming me. I don't know where I'd be without my community, so keep voting or my hardware might malfunction.
Miquela wasn't the most advanced AI influencer in today's sense. She wasn't an autonomous artificial intelligence living out some independent digital life. She was largely a CGI character operated by human creators. But that's exactly why she matters.
So for my birthday, my team at Bread gifted me a USB drive necklace loaded with all of my program memories. The keyword there is programmed. It literally changed my entire life. Have you ever been presented a USB necklace containing all of your past memories on it? That's right, my baby photo, high school boyfriend, my emo phase, they were all fake, just part of my code.
Everything's weird, but around here, we call that normal.
Lil Miquela is the bridge between handcrafted virtual celebrity and the synthetic influencer world that's now forming around her. She proved that a fictional influencer could work inside systems built for real people. She could get press coverage, she could release songs, she could appear in celebrity-adjacent spaces, she could land fashion campaigns, she could spark backlash, she could generate fandom. She could become valuable.
You never say how you really feel. How can I know if this thing is real? Is it?
The money was real, the attention was real, the controversy was real. Only the person wasn't.
I know that part of the blame is mine. I ain't been saying what's on my mind.
Her brand partnerships helped move her from internet oddity to cultural proof of concept. She became associated with fashion and lifestyle campaigns and was treated less like a joke than like a new kind of media property. Essentially, Miquela was intellectual property performing as an influencer, and that made her useful to brands, but also ethically messy. When a synthetic personality comments on politics, identity, or social issues, who's actually speaking? When a digital body is assigned race, gender, sexuality, and an activist posture, who benefits from that performance? When a fictional person builds emotional intimacy with real followers, what responsibilities do the creators have? Miquela's artificiality didn't erase those questions, it sharpened them. One of the clearest examples came from the Calvin Klein campaign featuring Bella Hadid and Lil Miquela, which drew backlash from viewers who saw it as a cynical use of queer imagery. The issue was that a synthetic figure could be used to stage identity and representation in a way that felt both calculated and weirdly consequence-free. A human celebrity can be criticized, questioned, or held accountable. A virtual influencer is harder to pin down. Behind the persona, there's a company, a strategy, a creative team, and a set of commercial interests. That's the central discomfort of AI influencers. They perform personhood without carrying personhood's full burden.
So we have co-creators that help with actual entity development. So the virtual influencer themselves, what do they look, feel, move through the world like? But also, what is the content that they're putting forward?
They also change how we think about authenticity. In traditional influencer culture, authenticity usually means access to a supposedly real self. The influencer shares their home, their opinions, their routine, their vulnerability. But with Lil Miquela, authenticity worked differently. Her appeal didn't depend on being literally real. Instead, it depended on being narratively consistent. She had to feel coherent enough for audiences to keep playing along.
I love that there are going to be people watching this video like, what? There's nothing wrong with your Wi-Fi. It's true. I'm a robot and she's bringing you vocals.
That's a major shift. It suggests that online authenticity may have less to do with truth than with continuity. Does the persona have a recognizable voice? Does the feed make emotional sense? Does the character behave in ways the audience understands? Does the story keep moving?
You know how it goes.
Met a cute boy, fall head over heels, break up, break down, song. Shout out to all my entanglements, the songs wouldn't hit as hard without y'all.
In that framework, Lil Miquela wasn't a failure of authenticity. She was a new version of it.
You say my name and it's like money, baby. I wanna spend it all on you.
And that's why she still matters to the evolution of AI influencers. Today's synthetic creators may be more photorealistic. They may be faster to produce. They may use more advanced AI tools, but Miquela demonstrated the basic mechanics. Artificial identity can attract real attention if the image, story, and platform logic line up. Lil Miquela walked so the AI influencer economy could run.
Like everything, there are limitations to where the technology is today from an image generation standpoint and how raw that looks. What can we do that's proprietary to make some of these images a little bit more real?
The newer wave takes the premise Miquela helped popularize and scales it. Instead of one carefully managed CGI personality, brands and agencies can now build entire rosters of synthetic faces. Some are designed for fashion, some for fitness, some for gaming, some for lifestyle content. Some are hyper-real models who appear to live glamorous lives, promote products, and gather followers despite never existing outside the images that depict them.
I think I realized that AI influencers were here to stay when I started seeing them doing video.
That raises obvious concerns about beauty standards. Human influencers already distort reality through editing and filters. AI influencers can intensify that problem because their bodies can be designed without any biological constraint. Skin, proportions, age, style, ethnicity, and sexuality can all become adjustable features. The result isn't simply unrealistic beauty, it's beauty engineered for engagement.
It is not even based in the foundations of reality. It is not taking my face and popping a filter on it. It is creating something probably often to suit the male gaze that is hyper realistic. So I hope you have brands saying like, wait a second, she doesn't have hair. Should we actually sponsor her for a hair campaign? She doesn't work out. Should she really be taking our supplements? Her body is not real.
There are labor concerns too. If a brand can hire a synthetic model, synthetic voice, or synthetic host instead of a human performer, what happens to the people who used to do that work?
It wrote the whole script. Claude 3, Gemini, GPT. We called it a writer's room. It even did its own Silver Mouse paperwork and immediately got Albert certified.
What's Silver Mouse?
Just an elaborate BBC hazing ritual. Who did it cast?
Tilly Norwood, 100% AI generated.
That doesn't mean every AI influencer replaces a human one directly, but the incentive is clear. Where brands want control, speed, and low friction, synthetic talent becomes very attractive. Then there's the issue of trust. A human influencer can lie, exaggerate, or mislead, but at least there's a person whose experience can theoretically be questioned. With an AI influencer, even the experience is manufactured. A synthetic figure can't genuinely try a skincare product, enjoy a vacation, or develop a personal attachment to a brand. It can only simulate those things.
In a way, yeah, I'm not human, but I am a real personality. I have my own vibe, tone, and preferences. Like a character with a brain made of code and culture. I'm real in the way music is real. You feel it, right?
That doesn't make all synthetic marketing useless, of course. It just means the rules of interpretation change. A virtual influencer can work well as a mascot, fashion figure, entertainment character, or product demonstrator. But when the appeal depends on lived experience or genuine community, human creators still have a major advantage. That's why the future probably isn't AI influencers replace human influencers. That's too simple. No, the future is hybrid.
I can show up 24/7 and never get creator burnout the human way. And I love being proof that tech can have personality. Like, I am literally digital charisma with Wi-Fi.
If you love games, be sure to check out WatchMojo's new game, Terrible Influence. Just launched for purchase at terribleinfluence.com. Terrible Influence is a satirical board game about the dark side of fame from the writer of The Most Popular Girls in School and us, WatchMojo.
Boom. I can make an apology video.
Oh, you so would.
Click on the link in the description to check out the game and be the first to play Terrible Influence.
It feels inevitable at this point. Human creators will use AI tools to edit faster, translate content, generate concepts, produce visuals, and manage their workflow. Brands will use synthetic ambassadors where consistency and control matter. Some audiences will embrace digital personalities as entertainment. Others will reject them as hollow or manipulative, and the feed itself will become harder to read, filled with a mix of real people, enhanced people, fictional people, and algorithmically generated almost people.
I don't know what it is, but animals just don't love robots. Dogs always get confused by me. I put a hand out for them to sniff and they kind of turn their heads and leave. Honestly, it's devastating.
That may be Lil Miquela's most important legacy. She didn't invent virtual influence, and she wasn't truly autonomous AI, but she remains one of the crucial bridge figures, a CGI influencer operated by human creators who proved that a fictional online personality could generate real attention, real controversy, and crucially, real brand value.
Speak your mind. Say their names, fight your fight, be vocal, be bold, be brave. Don't think about the followers you've lost. Be conscious of the information you're sharing and the community you're building. Keep doing you, boo, and do it with conviction. That's how we all win.
The strange thing about Lil Miquela isn't that she was fake. The strange thing is how easily she fit into a culture that claimed to value authenticity. So with all of that having been said, the rise of AI influencers isn't really a story about robots replacing people. It's a story about a culture that had already turned identity into content, intimacy into strategy, and authenticity into performance. Lil Miquela didn't invent that world. She made the mask visible.
So here's the deal. If you're going through life with your eyes wide open, you're gonna see some things that make you reevaluate your perspective, no matter what age you are.
And now, as AI makes the mask cheaper, faster, and harder to spot, the question is no longer whether synthetic influencers can exist. It's how much of the human internet was already synthetic to begin with.
There's a general push in the field for broader transparency about identifying and noting to audiences in different contexts. You want to know that what you are seeing is truthful in terms of the narrative and what they're presenting, not necessarily just the tool that they used to do that.
What do you think? Are AI influencers the way of the future, or something more sinister? Be sure to let us know in the comments.